So let's talk about how to dispute debts in your name. They're not yours. I mean, because the last thing you want is to actually have somebody's debt that's not yours, right? So here's an overview I want you to pay attention to. The thing is that if debt collectors are contacting you about debts that are not yours, you really have a problem because somebody can take out debts or loans in your name, and unfortunately, most people won't realize that they are victims of identity theft until let's say a debt collection agency contacts them. So if you don't protect your data with credit monitoring, it's very easy for fraudsters to infiltrate your financial life. So, but identity theft and fraud are not the only reason why you could discover debts in your name that are not yours. So here are seven ways that you can end up with someone else's debt in your name. So the first one is your identity was stolen, right? So let's say identity thieves, they can find out basic personal information such as your name, address, and social security number. And they can use it to create fake identities and take out fraudulent lines of credit. That happens every day in this country. And this is scenario number one. A family member or friend took out debts in your name. Sometimes, people closest to you actually present the greatest threats of fraud. So, a sibling or parents with easy access to your mail and identity documents could exploit you for years before being caught. And this is scenario number two. Number three, you were the victim of a phishing attack. So, cyber criminals sent malicious links or attachments in emails and text messages to trick you into sharing your sensitive information on fake websites. Another scenario is that somebody sold a bad or a fake debt. So debt buyers sometimes purchase fake or invalid debts, which can really lead to collection agencies pursuing you for debts that are not yours. You can also have a joint debts. So if you share a joint bank account or co-sign a loan with someone, creditors could hold you responsible for the other person's debt if they fail to make payments. And scenario number six, you sign as a guarantor for someone else's loan. So, as with joint accounts, you will be responsible for outstanding repayments if you agree to act as a guarantor for someone who defaults on their loan. So, be very careful there. And the last scenario is that if someone has a power of attorney from your account. So if you grant someone legal authority over your financial affairs, they could abuse their position to take out credit cards or create debt in your name. And there's nothing you can do about it. By the way, boss, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here. Make yourself comfortable. You are going to enjoy today's conversation. Let's talk about the steps you can really take to dispute a debt in your name that is not yours. The first thing you want to do is to verify that the debt collector is legitimate. So it's very important. Before paying or disputing a debt, you need to make sure that you're not dealing with a debt collector scammer in disguise, right? Because the thing is that fraudsters posing as debt collectors often threaten victims if they don't pay immediately. So, for example, a con artist might say you will lose your driver's license, have to pay fines, or even face jail time. So, before panicking and giving in to any demands, you should confirm that the people on the phone or doorstep are legitimate. So, how do you tell if a debt collector is not legitimate? Well, the collector or agency calls you repeatedly and threatens you. Scammers try to create a sense of urgency to get you to pay for bad debts without thinking. So, if someone uses aggressive language or threatens you with violence or fines, you're not dealing with a legitimate debt collector. If someone pressures you to pay by prepaid card or cryptocurrency, so scammers attempt to get people to pay by prepaid cards or money transfers, as these methods are harder to trace, making it easier for criminals to get away with the money. If they refuse to disclose details, like real debt collectors who represent reputable companies can share website information, so you can contact the head office or read reviews. If anyone refuses to talk about their identity or company or won't give you their name, address, or phone number, these are red flags. If they contact you at strange hours, by law, debt collectors are prohibited from contacting you before 8 a.m. or after 9 p.m. So they also cannot contact you at your place of work. So if you have informed them that you cannot receive personal calls while at work. So this is kind of important. So first thing is you want to verify that the debt collector is legitimate. Number two, you want to assist that debt collectors contact you via mail. Mail is it's really critical. Okay, so first you want to request the debt collection agency contact you only through written communication. This step helps create a paper trail and ensures that any information exchanged is consistent and documented. Then you want to ask for full information about the debt. By law, debt collectors must confirm the following: the name of the original creditor, the amount owed, your right to dispute the debt within 30 days, that they will provide verification of the debt if you dispute the debt in writing within 30 days, that they will assume the debt is valid if you don't dispute it within 30 days, that they will provide you with the name and address of the original creditor if you request if your request actually if you request this information within 30 days. Finally, you want to note that the date of your request is important. If debt collectors don't provide all the above information when they first contact you, they must send a written notice detailing the information within 5 days. Very important. Boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about how to dispute debts in your name. The next thing you want to do is to check your credit report to ensure that the debt is not valid. So you might not recognize the debt immediately, but it doesn't automatically mean it's fraudulent, right? If you have multiple businesses, a large estate, or haven't been keeping up with your credit report, it's easy to lose track of all your financial responsibilities. So you can check if a debt is valid by reviewing your credit reports. So here is how to check if a debt is valid. So what you want to do is you want to first go to you want to examine your credit report at annualcreditreport.com. So you can order a free copy of your credit report from each of the three major credit bureaus, credit reporting bureaus, and Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. You want to review your credit reports and note any unfamiliar activity, accounts, or hard inquiries. You want to review your financial records. So compare the debt collector's information with your bills, statements, and other direct debit agreements. Make sure it's not from a joint account, guarantor loan, or rental agreement. And then you want to check the statute of limitations. So creditors or debt collectors have a limited period of time to file lawsuits to recover a debt. So even if a debt is real, it may be invalid if it's too old. So you can really verify if the debt is within the statute of limitations by contacting the state attorney general's office. Really important. So step number 4, you want to send a debt validation letter within 30 days. So if you believe a debt is not yours, you only have a limited time frame in which to get all the information and lodge a dispute. It's important to send a debt validation letter within the 30 days of receiving the initial contact form from the collection agency. So when we talk about sending a debt validation letter, you want to write a letter requesting proof of the debt, and all debt collection agencies are legally obliged to provide validation information about the debt. So here I'm talking about amounts, dates, and original creditor information. If this hasn't already been given to you, you can officially request this proof in your letter. And you want to use simple letters as a guide. So the CFPB provides simple letters for various situations. You can base your request on those simple letters. And you want to send your letter by certified mail within 30 days. Make sure to pay for tracked mail with proof of sending date and a return receipt. Also, keep a copy of any letters that you send. Maintaining good records of communications can help you later with any legal disputes, and this is important. What you want to do next is that you want to request that the debt collectors stop contacting you. So the Fair Debt Collections Practices Act was designed to eliminate abusive, deceptive, and unfair debt collection practices. So this federal law gives you the right to request that debt collectors cease communication. Now, to exercise your rights under this law, the FDCPA You want to write a cease and desist letter. So you can check the CFPB for simple letters using just let us know in the comment section. We'll send you the link. So in your letter, you want to emphasize that you want the agency to stop contacting you, and you can insist that all further contact should be through your attorney. And you want to send the letter via certified mail with a return receipt. And with the return receipt, you'll have proof that the agency received your letter. And as always, keep copies in case you or your attorney needs proof later. And one thing you want to do also is that number 6, if they actually continue, you want to file a complaint with the CFPB and FTC. So once you inform debt collectors that you want them to stop all communications immediately, they may only contact you after that to serve you with a lawsuit. If the collector persists, file a complaint, okay? And when we talk about filing a complaint, it's pretty straightforward too. You need to gather proof that the agency is violating your rights. You can include a copy of a dated letter proving that you requested an end to communications, plus any screenshots of messages, call logs, or mail that shows the debt collector has ignored your request. And you need to report the abuse of the Federal Trade Commission, and you need to report it to the FTC if you believe you are dealing with an abusive debt collector, or let's say potential scam artist. You want to report the situation to the FTC. There is a website here, reportfraudftc.gov, reportfraud.ftc.gov. And you need to submit a complaint to the CFPB if you have an issue with a financial company, product, or service. You can file a report on the CFPB website. And the thing is that most companies will respond within 15 days. So this is pretty straightforward here. Boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about how to dispute debts in your name. Next, you want to remove fraudulent charges from your credit file. So you want to remove inaccurate debts from your credit report to maintain a good credit score and get credit when you really need it most. In one example, you want to make sure that you do not have like 20,000, 50,000, 100,000 loan in your name when it's really not your loan, okay? So to remove fraudulent debts from your credit report, you have to review your credit reports for errors. First, you want to look for any and all potential instances of fraud or inaccurate reporting. This includes unfamiliar transactions, such as payment or balance errors, misspelled names or account status issues. And then you want to write a credit dispute letter. So include details about all the errors you believe need to be corrected. Also, you need to explain your reasoning and provide supporting documentation. And you want to send your credit dispute letters to the credit reporting bureaus by mail. And don't do anything by email or phone. No, by mail. Keep copies of the letters and get return receipts so you have proof. The bureaus must investigate within 30 days of receiving your letter, okay? And next thing, you want to freeze your credit with all 3 bureaus. So a credit freeze secures your credit files to prevent fraud. So if you suspect your personal information is compromised, this precautionary measure will protect your credit score by stopping scammers from opening unauthorized accounts in your name. So to actually freeze your credit, contact each of the 3 bureaus to request a credit freeze. And so again, here you have to contact each of them individually. Then you have to provide your name, address, date of birth, and social security number. And so I'll show you very soon what kind of information you have to have. So you want to keep the PIN safe. So when you initiate a credit freeze, the credit bureaus will give you a unique PIN. It's essential to keep this code secret. You will need it to thaw the account later. Remember that nobody can access your credit file, so even genuine lenders will not be able to see your credit report. So if you wish to get a loan or credit card, you must remove the credit freeze first. So when we talk about Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, you have to. So for Experian, the number is 1-888-397-3742. For Equifax, 1-800-685-111. So 1111. For TransUnion, it's 1-888-909-8872. In terms of the address, it's Experience Security Freeze, P.O. Box 9554, Allen, Texas 75013. For Equifax, we have Equifax Information Services, LLC, P.O. Box 105788, Atlanta, Georgia 303485788. And then for TransUnion, you have TransUnion LLC, P.O. Box 2000, Chester, Pennsylvania, and 19016. What you do is you want to keep records of all communications in case the collectors are sued, right? If an agency files a lawsuit, well-kept records of communications with debt collectors will help your attorney build a strong case to protect you. So you want to store copies of all written communication in a safe place. You need to retain copies of letters and return receipts to prove what you sent, and also keep the originals of any email from the debt collection agency, right? Another good idea is to save screenshots of messages in a cloud storage folder. You also want to write a short call summary after any phone calls. Make a note of the date, agent names, account numbers, and information about the debt. Also detail any suspicious behavior or aggressive language that the agents used. You want to record calls when someone visits your home. In some states, you must get permission from the debt collector to record a conversation, and bona fide agents should not have any objections. But if they refuse, it's best to end the conversation and request that they only contact you in writing. So this is important to think about. And the last thing you want to do is to consider signing up for credit monitoring. So it's one of those things where you want to prevent issues from happening to you in the future, right? So dedicated identity protection services will help safeguard your credit reports, financial accounts, and personal information. And with these services, there is less risk of scammers racking up debts in your name. So if you want to choose an identity theft protection provider, you want to review the leading services, and you want to think about advanced protection features. So things like dark web monitoring, social security monitoring, substantial identity theft insurance, and dedicated support with fraud resolution. And you want to prioritize safe browsing. So when you sign up for a service that offers site blockers, parental controls, and antivirus software, you can keep your entire family safe, from kids on gaming platforms to elderly adults who are not tech savvy online. Let me give you a bonus before we close to this conversation. So how do you prove a debt is not really yours? So if you are certain that a debt in your name is either fraudulent or a mistake, you have to take action. So you want to get the details from the debt collector. In the best case scenario, the collection agency is not able to supply the relevant information in writing and will have to stop contacting you about the debt. But if the agency shares the information, the onus is on you to prove the debt is now your responsibility. And so you want to contact the original creditor for details. So you can contact the original creditor and request copies of any signed contracts or documentation proving the debt belongs to someone else. You want to look for other signs of identity theft. So if you believe scammers are targeting you with bogus debt claims, you want to look for other signs of fraud. So check your credit reports, statements, and mail any other suspicious activity. Make copies of all your proof and store the originals in a safe place. Okay, very important. And you want to compile all your evidence to prove the fraud. So by collecting supporting documents such as bank statements, receipts, payment confirmations, and communications records, you can build a strong case to prove your innocence. And you want to file a report with the FTC. So after compiling your evidence, you can lodge an official identity theft report at identitytheft.gov. And the FTC will provide a recovery plan and investigate your claims. You also want to inform local law enforcement. So when you file a police report, local authorities can actually pursue the perpetrators, especially if you believe the bogus debt collectors are targeting other people in your area. So you want to bring your FTC affidavit and supporting documents to help with investigations. And you want to contact the three bureaus individually to report the fraud and cancel the debt. So you can provide your FTC report and police report as evidence. So ask the agencies and lenders to revoke the debt in your name and then send your confirmation letters verifying that they have complied with your request. This is where this is important. And so, how long do you have to dispute a debt that is not yours? Well, an account in collection status will be recorded on your credit report for 7 years. So as soon as you spot the warning signs, you should take action to limit the damage to your credit score, savings, and financial reputation. Right. So how long you have to dispute debts that are not yours will depend on how the debtor first contacted you. So if a debt collector contacts you by phone and provides you with the entire validation information about the debt, you have 30 days to dispute the debt. You must submit your dispute in writing. In the meantime, the debt collector must cease all collection activity. That's option number one. If a debt collector contacts you by sending a debt collection letter that includes the mandatory validation information, you have 30 days from the date of the initial letter to submit a written dispute. Okay, so bottom line is that you can stop bad debt from ruining your credit. It's you got to take action. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I explained to you how to dispute debt in your name, and I give you the overview, the steps, the bonus, and now the recap. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.